Hey guys, this is Tom Hanks, and today I'd like to show you guys the prize cars for the 1964 season of the Classic Rally competition. So you've already seen this on stream. This is the Mini Cooper S, and this is of course such an important car. I just had to make a Mini for 1964 because it was just so transformative, not just for rallying, but also for the automotive industry as a whole. You know, its front-door drive concept allowed for a very small car that could still seat 4 people and have a reasonably usable trunk. So that was what they wanted to achieve with the Mini anyway, the smallest possible car that could seat 4 adults, and it can. So the result is of course a very small and light car that is extremely nimble, and with the brake bias set all the way to the rear like this one, they did that in rallying, so you could left foot brake during a corner and basically just stay on throttle the whole time, while also braking and rotating the rear with their left foot while doing all that. So this car is going to the first 5 places of the 1964 season. So yes, 5 people are gonna get this car, and then place 2 and 3 are gonna get a choice of one of the other 2 cars that I'm gonna show you in just a second. So both of these other cars are pretty rare today. One was pretty successful for what it was back then, or for its niche back then, I should say. The other was not so successful back then, and therefore even rarer today probably. So with this being said, let's get into the other cars. So this is the BMW 3200 CS, and this is a car that when it came out, it wasn't a sort of limited run special edition or anything like that, but it was rare because, well, at the time it came out, nobody wanted one. Now I'm sorry, but I still think this car is pretty cool, actually. By the way, the body I used for this in automation is a little too wide compared to the real car, so that shows especially on the rear end. But overall, I still think I did a reasonably good job, especially on the front here. And the reason why this was not very successful is because it had one major competitor, which was the Mercedes 200 SL at the time. And not only did the Mercedes come with disc brakes all around, unlike this car, this only had them in the front, but also the Mercedes had 2 very important features that were missing on this one, and that were really important at the time. So the Mercedes S standard came with both power steering and seat belts. This had neither of them. So you know, when we talk about cars today, and it's pretty silly to these days to buy a car that simply because it has one extra feature over its competitor, because these days we're talking about, you know, oh, my car has a drowsiness sensor, so my car can tell me when I'm tired and I need rest. Nobody cares about your drowsiness sensor in the car. You know, I know when I'm tired, okay? But back then, you know, the freaking seat belts, the difference between being launched through your front windshield upon impact or not, that's a huge deal, isn't it? And so at a similar price and obviously similar levels of luxury otherwise, people just went for the Mercedes. Now I can tell you that this car is of course more of a Grand Tourer, not really a true sports car. But and so I set the suspension up accordingly, and the gearing is also, by the way, the same as it would be in real life. So the engine in this, by the way, if I didn't mention it before, is a 3.2 liter pushrod V8 with 160 horsepower. So it's definitely not slow for the early to mid 60s. And again, the suspension is set up in a more sort of GT-esque way, so a little bit sportier than a true comfort car, but still on the soft side. But still, the car feels pretty good to drive. Actually, it's very controllable. It does like to drift if you wanted to. But overall it is still very controllable and fun to drive. Okay, and so, by the way, this car was produced from 1962 to 1965, and they only made about 600 of them in those 3 years, and today less than a third of them are still intact. So seeing one of these today is gonna be pretty rare. Okay, so that was the BMW 3200 CS. I'm gonna go and get to a quick stop in just a second, or rather, you know what? I'm gonna pick up the other car, which is parked pretty close to here. You can already see it in the distance. Okay, let's stop here and switch cars. This is the Lotus Elan. Now I did go for the coupe, and the simple reason for that is because this car was so freaking light as a roadster, I could not possibly make it as light as the real car in automation. So, but with a coupe I was able to match the real car's weight of just 670 kilograms. So this was powered by a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, and the block came from a Ford Kent engine, and then the head was designed by Lotus themselves. And so it made 106 horsepower, which, you know, is a pretty good horsepower per liter ratio for the mid-60s, wouldn't you say? And combined with the low weight, that made the car pretty damn quick, and especially it was super agile. And trying to match that, of course, in automation is not very easy, but as I get my camera adjusted, yeah. So this car, honestly, I think that this car often doesn't get the credit that I think it deserves, because the Lotus Elan is the reason why the Mazda MX-5 exists. And the MX-5, you know, gets so much praise, so much hype. I mean, it's a great car, I love it too. But I hate when journalists say, you know, when the first generation Miata came out, it basically created a whole new automotive niche. It didn't. It was basically Mazda's version of this, the Elan, just, you know, 25 or so years later. And yeah, so as I tried to achieve with this car, I think I did a reasonably good job making this thing really agile. In fact, I'm probably gonna head over to the automation handling track for just a second because here obviously we don't have that many tight corners, but I can tell you this handles very, very well. It's super light, super agile. Brakes for a mid-60s car are not bad either because it's so light. It's playful too, so you gotta be a little bit careful. But it is really fun to drive around, and again, if you come second or third overall in the community competition 1964 season, then you can get either this or the BMW. If you come first, you get all 3 cars. So again, top 5 spots are gonna get the Mini. Second and third place are gonna get 1 extra car, so 2 in total. And then first place is gonna get all 3 cars. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you liked the cars. I will try to show them a bit on the stream this weekend as well. And until then, I hope to see you guys there. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch if you haven't done so already. I'll be streaming the whole competition over there, and then the exports you see on YouTube are from my Twitch stream. So I hope to see you guys there, and until then, have a good one. See you next time. Bye bye.